What we have just witnessed is the downfall of one of the best endurance runners in the area due to the use or practice of blood doping. Unfortunately, in endurance sports such as marathon running and cycling, we are beginning to see more of this practice being taken place. We do have a phone interview with the athlete from the slides to get a better point of view of blood doping and his point of view. But before we get into that, we'll just go through a brief definition of blood doping. Blood doping is an ergonomic process, meaning a process that enhances physiological status to improve performance. Blood doping specifically is a physiological ergonomic aid, meaning that it enhances the body's natural processes in some manner. Now, the natural process that is enhanced in this situation is the production of red blood cells. By boosting the amount of red blood cells in the bloodstream, it allows more oxygen to be carried from the lungs to the muscles, which improves aerobic capacity. Now we are fortunate enough to have the endurance athlete that was banned from sports with us for a phone interview. We'd first like to thank you for this phone interview. I'd like to first start off by asking, can you please discuss how the process of blood doping works? How soon did you feel the effects of blood doping? Were there any negative side effects with the blood doping? How has life been since you were stripped of your medals, and do you plan on returning to running after you're banned? And do you have any advice you would like to give to other up-and-coming runners from your experiences? Well, thank you for having me on your show. And to answer your first question, blood doping can be done in one of two ways. Either by finding an individual with the same blood type or using your own blood. I chose to use my own blood to decrease the chances of catching an infectious disease. I also was under the impression that using my own blood couldn't be illegal because it was my own blood. Little did I know that both methods were illegal. If I knew that both methods were illegal, I'd probably use tiger blood. But anyways, back to the process. So I would take the blood, package it, freeze it, thaw it out, and then re-inject it a few hours before competition or practice. For your question about the effects were almost immediate. I would shoot up maybe an hour or so before a competition, and I'd feel great. I also doped up a few times before workouts, and I could easily see the improvements. I was also able to do more when I was doped up, and my VO2 max increased significantly. Unfortunately, when my 90-minute half marathon turned into 60-minute half marathons, heads began to turn. And for your next question, I did suffer a little bit. One side effect was anemia. That may have been from the sudden changes in my blood levels or blood cell count, red blood cell count. I did also begin to have lumps or bruises in my arm where I injected. That may have been due to infection. I may have been getting an infection. I may have an infection, who knows. At the time, they were losing and I was winning, and that's all that mattered to me. And for your next question, how's life? Life is horrible. Thanks for asking. I can't run any races for 2 years, and all my medals were stripped of me. I do realize that I do need help, and I'm undergoing therapy now, and hopefully I will return to action as soon as my ban is lifted. And for the advice, I'd like to tell runners, upcoming runners, just don't mess with the blood, whether it's your blood or tiger blood. Just say no. You know, you want to get better than the competition, just do it the old-fashioned way. Work harder, longer workouts, and hopefully that'll pay off in the end. Again, thanks for having me.